everybody? It's Saturday at 12:07. You know what that means? That means it's time for the Car Guys. Myself, Shelley Winter, and General Manager of Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the greatest car dealership in the entire world. His name is Kevin Deutsch. Kevin, how are you, my friend?
Man, I'm excited to be here. This is good day to day. There's lots of good stuff happening in the car world.
Absolutely, and we've got to shout out happy 404 Day to everybody. A lot going on in the city around 404 Day. So, Kevin, you get emails at carguys@wsbradio.com. You can email Kevin anytime you want with your questions. He gets back to everyone. But you got an email about top-tier gas. I want to hear all about this because I've never heard of it before.
Well, most people haven't heard of top tier gas, and it's a term that was coined by many of the oil companies who sell better fuel than other places. So if you think that all of the gas stations have equal fuel, you're wrong. About 70% of it is top tier and about 30% of it. And that's basically what it is. It's a performance standard for gasoline and diesel fuel that requires us a higher concentration of detergent additives. And that's over the minimum level mandated by federal law. It was developed in 2024, and it was really the automakers are the one who pushed for it. It was led by the automakers, and their primary goal was to prevent the carbon deposits building up in engine components like fuel injectors and intake valves. And when you take a look at fuel injectors, you know, you go back 30 years, 40 years, that's not something we had. We had carburetors. And you could always spray carburetor cleaner and clean it off. But with these injectors, man, that gets expensive, and it's hard to track down a problem sometime. So, you know, there's some really good benefits to this, like engine cleanliness. AAA did a survey, and they found that top-tier fuel keeps the engines 19 times cleaner than the fuels that only meet the minimum legal standards. And so by using it consistently, you can remove existing carbon buildup left over from the other stuff, and you get better fuel efficiency. It just makes it drive better.
Now, how would we find where top, because there's 87, 89, 93, right? How do we know what's top tier gas?
Now, that's octane, and octane has nothing to do. In fact, it really is a common misconception that top tier is the same as premium high octane gas. And now octane measures the fuel's resistance to knocking. That's really what octane does.
Now, what's knocking mean? What does knocking mean?
Well, you've had your engine run on and knock, right?
Not in my Lexus. I have no idea. I drive a Lexus. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Because the computer evens it out and makes it work for you. But like when you hit the gas pedal in some cars and you're using the cheaper fuel, you can hear like a knock and you don't get the power you need. So we recommend that you only buy the octane you're supposed to use, but get it at a top tier. So top tier gas brands would be Shell, Chevron, Exxon, Mobil, Phillips 66, Sunoco. The budget-friendly options would be Costco, Quick Trip, Arco. You can look up before you go to gas stations and see if they sell top-tier gas. It's not any more expensive.
When you look up, what are you looking for?
Let's say that next to your house is a particular gas station that's got cheap gas, and you may want to look it up and just say, do they have top tier or not?
Oh, look it up like Google.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But most of the name brands are all top tier today, and they put enough detergent in there and they advertise it in order to be considered that. And it does make a difference, and it doesn't cost you anymore, but it does cost the merchant a little bit more. So really good subject that a lot of people have never heard of, but it's real.
So is this why sometime if you go, say you're running low on gas and you stop at a gas station to get gas, it's not a Quick Trip or Racetrack, it's, whatever, gas station, Valero, BP or something like that. But sometime, you might not be in the best area.
Willie Joe's gas station.
Right, Willie Joe's, right? And you get gas. Sometime, now this will happen, I don't hear the knocking, but I've noticed a couple times where I'll push on the gas and it takes a long, a second or two longer to get the power. Is that because I'm not getting I got bad gas from someplace?
Well, it means it's not a top tier fuel. Yes, that's exactly one of the items that you would see.
Okay, gotcha.
That little hesitation.
That hesitation. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So just something that a lot of people haven't heard of and thought that we'd throw it out there today.
Yes,
I thought it was a really good question.
So, because I'd never heard of anything called top tier gas. Let's move on to AC service. This was also a email that you got. Tell us what does AC service include? But really, what does it mean?
That's pretty good. So basically what his question was pretty simple. Is what is an AC service? What does it include? How often should I do it? And what should I expect to pay? Those are just real questions. And it's so a car AC service is a professional inspection and maintenance routine designed to keep your car's cooling system running efficiently and prevent really the expensive failures. So, we're heading into spring and summer and it's getting hot. And this is a perfect follow-up to last week's show. So it's a standard AC service typically involves a lot more than just adding Freon. Most shops, they do performance testing, measuring the temperature of the air coming out of your vents to ensure it's reaching the manufacturer's specified what they call frosty levels. They look for leak detection using UV dye or pressure tests to find any tiny holes in your hoses. So you can find that before you have a problem. That goes back to they do a refrigerant check and recharge, measuring and refilling the refrigerant. Component inspection, checking the compressor. That's the heart of the system, the condenser, evaporator, drive belts for wear or damage. So all those things matter. Even your cabin filter, if you don't change your cabin filter and the air's not moving freely, it can back up your AC. So all those things are a normal AC service. How often should you do it? Once a year. It really not expensive, and that's the maintenance we talk about that some people just don't do. So why wouldn't you have it checked once a year? The same way you do your home, right? I hope they come out and do an inspection every year on your home AC. Recharging. Unlike fuel, the refrigerant is not consumed. I mean, if you don't have any problems in a perfectly working system, that refrigerant with 10, 15 years old is fine. But if it's leaking, then you've got a problem. So you should at least check it, no less than every 2 years. But being in this heat, I would say every year. Service signs that you need to go get a look at would be a weak airflow or warm air or, noises that you haven't heard. All those things just tell you, those are the things you need to look at. And then, the big question is, what the heck does it cost? And they vary. Just filling your refrigerant is going to cost different because there's multiple different kinds. The newer cars, like 2015 and newer, they use what's called R1234YF. Whereas the older cars used R134A. If you're in the business, you know those numbers and those are just normal things. And the 123Y4 cost more money than the old refrigerant, if you can even find the old refrigerant on the shelves anymore. So just a diagnostic and inspection added onto your bill is about $100, can be $1.50, depending on how, what kind of car it is. If it's a BMW or German car, I'm sure it's more.
Right.
Basic recharge, $150 to $300 for the older, and the 1234 would be $300 to $800 plus. It's just more expensive. But if you have to refill it, you have another problem, and you need to go fix that problem, or you're just going to be putting more in. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Your cabin filters, that should be done when you change your oil.
Let me ask you this question.
$50.
When you get a diagnostic, like with a Lexus, Butler Lexus, that you do the 100-point inspection, I'm sure the manufacturers do something similar, right? Do they do AC? Do they look at your AC as well? Or is that something when you go to your dealership you should specifically ask for?
You should specifically ask for it. Now, the MPI that you're speaking of, the multi-point inspection that's free. In fact, at my dealership, we take a video of the multi-point with the technician walking around the car and talking you through everything he's looking at. They will check for flow and they will check temperature with a gauge as part of the MPI, but they don't do the full inspection.
Understood.
The full inspection, I mean, it's a 20, 30-minute inspection.
404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Those are the numbers. This show is designed for you to call in and ask Kevin all of your automotive questions. Again, those numbers are 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. We will be right back.